The honourable member for Carleton.
The Prime Minister has a budget bill before the House of Commons right now that Finance Canada admits will raise the price of gas, home heating, and most other consumer goods that Canadians buy. How much will the Prime Minister's carbon tax cost the average Canadian family?
The honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for 10 years, Stephen Harper and his Conservatives did nothing on protecting the environment. However, over those years, a number of provinces stepped up and put forward price on carbon pollution. And actually, we have now, presently, a situation in which 80% of our economy, 80% of our citizens live in jurisdictions where there is a carbon price in effect. So we are continuing to move forward to demonstrate that a national price on carbon will be fair for those provinces who already have it and grow the economy for everyone.
The honourable member for Carleton.
Well, Mr. Speaker, if the provinces were already doing it, the Prime Minister would not have to introduce a budget bill forcing them to do it. Clearly, this is a federally imposed tax. And clearly, he would have read the briefing notes that his departments have given him about the cost of that tax. He knows the cost. So I ask again, how much will this Liberal carbon tax imposed by this Prime Minister cost the average Canadian family?
Simple.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I hate to have to correct the member opposite, but in fact, it is during his government that many provinces move forward on pricing carbon pollution. We have a situation in which British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec, and Ontario have all moved forward with pricing of carbon pollution, and we know that it has to be done right across the country. That's exactly what we are ensuring, but we're working with the provinces to ensure that they can put forward a model that works for them, as long as it is fairly stringent and impactful right across the country.
I'm having difficulty hearing the answers. I'd like to ask the member for St. Albert, Edmonton, and others not to be yelling when someone else has the floor. It's very straightforward. The honourable member for Carleton.
Well, the Prime Minister uses the word stringent. There's no doubt that it will have a stringent effect on household budgets. There's also no doubt the Prime Minister supports high gas prices. He said so when he was out in Vancouver celebrating $1.60 a litre gas prices. There's also no doubt that his carbon tax will raise the price of consumer goods that middle-class Canadians rely upon. It's his bill. So how much will his carbon tax cost the average Canadian family?
Right, honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, unlike the years of the Harper Conservatives, we work with provinces as we move forward on pan-Canadian issues and projects. That's why we are working with provinces like Manitoba, Nova Scotia, and others to establish how they want to move forward on putting a price on pollution. We know we need a price on pollution across the country. It needs to be equivalent and effective right across the country, but every jurisdiction will get to determine how that money comes in and how they return that money to the people who need it.
The honourable member for Carleton.
We have no doubt that this Prime Minister will work with any politician as part of his plan to raise taxes on Canadians. It's his form of trickle-down economics. He scoops up money from working-class consumers, gives it to the federal government, trickles it down to provincial politicians, and then expects us to believe that a few drops will go back to the people who originally paid for it in the first place. If that's true, then why can't he tell us how much will his carbon tax cost the average Canadian family?
Right, honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the member Power Opposite's expertise in trickle-down economics. That's what they specialized in for 10 years. They gave boutique tax credits to wealthy Canadians, delivered child benefit checks to millionaire families, and then when we move forward with lowering taxes for the middle class and raising them in the wealthiest 1%, they voted against it. Then we move forward on account of the child benefit that gives us more money to 9 out of 10 Canadian families and doesn't send child benefit checks to millionaires while lifting hundreds of thousands of kids out of poverty, and they voted against it.